Favourite time of the week to talk to our favourite person in the world, the wonderful Megyn Kelly, joins us from the United States. How are you, Rockstar?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, look, you know, I'm always great, but I've just done a new level because Australia was touched by greatness in the past few days. You know, I know that this little old island continent doesn't make a lot of news around the world, but we were changed for the better because a true global leader just graced us with her presence for a day and a half. Kamala Harris was here, and just an example of what you've missed out as a president. She was addressing a real estate conference. I mean, we're lucky, aren't we, to just get a little bit of this gold dust, that the realtors of Australia are what bring her out of hiding.
Like, for what lessons exactly? First of all, she's never been a salesperson. Don't you have to know sales and very well to be a realtor? Like, that's one of their greatest skills. You'd think they'd want somebody who is an excellent salesperson. She's never been in the public sector doing any sort of sales work whatsoever, other than her fake little stint at McDonald's. But let's face it, those burgers sell themselves. So what could be gleaned from her? First of all, you got to be a little concerned. Like, it'd be one thing if she were in hot demand over here and like she just made time for the Aussies because that's out of the goodness of her heart. Nobody wants her. Like, she had to go over there where her reputation didn't so much precede her in order to get a check. So, my friends, we need to be a little bit more discerning in our invitations. And then the bits that I saw, because earlier today, at least, it wasn't put out on video, so we were just getting little sneak peeks at it from what my friends over there, got and put online. It was just more inanities, saying absolutely nothing about anything, with a huge windup to every single quote unquote point she was about to make. She makes you work so hard. You have to sift through 500 words to get to the 4 that actually do have meaning, but then you realize that those 2 are entirely empty.
Now, I would hate to suggest that somebody like Kamala Harris is basically just giving a version of the same speech wherever she goes, which, of course, is the laziest possible thing, and they get paid a huge chunk of change. Can I read from one of the newspaper accounts of what she said? Quote, she said,
please do. Real
estate agents could be considered, quote, civic leaders for their role in connecting buyers with suitable homes. The point... She just turns up anywhere and insert industry or who I'm talking to and tell them that they're civic leaders. They're flogging apartments around Australia and beachside on the Gold Coast. Civic leaders, please.
I'm sure they don't even see themselves like that. Like, they know a lot about houses and what would make somebody happy and what's a good deal and what's not. But civic leaders, what is that? That's like your preacher, probably your mayor, I don't know, some activist in town who's taken up an issue that's important to the town, like no windmills offshore. I don't know, but it's probably not the realtor. And that's just, of course, her empty pablum, because CAA took her on as a client, this big agency that I used to be with too. And I'm sorry to tell you, but you guys were the only takers. So someone was really excited until they found out, like, literally no one else wanted her. I shudder to think what the check looked like. They cannot get her any gigs over here. No one wants to hear from her. Not only could she not sell real estate the way the people listening to this show likely can, she couldn't sell herself. So why would you think she would have something of value to say to you about sales, which is the business of real estate? Like, she didn't win the presidency. She didn't win the nomination ever. She couldn't. She failed miserably when she actually did run. She couldn't sell herself as an inspirational woman, nor as a woman from Puerto Rico or Jamaica or where else were her accents from? She couldn't sell herself as any of those things. All she really is an out-of-work lawyer. So, I mean, maybe you should ask her about contract law. She might be able to say something valuable on that front. Otherwise, it was a waste of everyone's time.
See, I was disappointed that she didn't try an Australian accent because, as you say, during a campaign, there she was, if she was in the South, she'd try to sound a little Southern. And what was it that your daughter, doesn't your daughter have a little piece of advice as to how you can try to sound
how you
a little
can sound Australian? You say, rise up lights.
Rise up lights.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Kamala Harris.
blades.
Have you got any razor blades? See, that would have worked. It would have worked. Maybe I was trying to think.
What I'm actually saying is rise up lights. I'm in American English, I'm saying rise up lights, but it translates into Australian English into razor blades. but I sound like a local, don't I?
Absolutely, and you are welcome on any of our conferences anywhere, and they'll pay you better than she did. All right.
Oh my God, I know. I should be offended that I wasn't invited first. I'm much bigger in Australia than Kamala Harris is. Where's my invitation, realtors?
Mate, I'll give you the tip. There isn't a town in this country where somebody wouldn't be willing to put you up in a spare bedroom, all right? That's the type of joint we are. You know, there's lovely hotels, there's beautiful resorts, but, you know, come and stay at some mate's house.
I accept.
You're always
I'll be
welcome.
there. I'll bring my favorite pillow.